When the twin son was 13, his biological mother came to claim him with a radio, but he ran away and returned to his adoptive parents. His biological parents, whose financial situation had improved, longed to bring their son back to enjoy a comfortable life. Still, the boy preferred to flee famine rather than stay in the city. The boy, named Xiaojin, was the older of the twins. When he was born, his family was so poor that his parents gritted their teeth and sent him hundreds of miles away to the mountains to be raised by a couple who couldn't have children. His adoptive parents were honest and hardworking, having never left the mountains their entire lives. They loved Xiaojin as their own son and raised him frugally until he was 13. One evening, just as darkness fell, there was a knock at the door. His adoptive father opened it to find a well-dressed woman standing there, speaking softly and gently. She said she had gotten lost and wanted to stay the night. The kind-hearted adoptive father agreed without much thought, letting her share a room with Xiaojin. The woman looked at Xiaojin with unusual affection from the moment she entered the room. She took a small square box out of her bag, saying it was a radio that could mimic human speech. She told Xiaojin to call out "Mom" into the box, and Xiaojin did as she was told. Her voice really came through the radio. Xiaojin had never seen anything so amazing before and was so excited she couldn't sleep. Her adoptive mother put down her chopsticks, her eyes red, and told Xiaojin the truth. "I'm not your biological mother. The woman who left during the day is your biological mother. She came looking for you a long time ago, saying she wanted to take you to the city to live a better life." Xiaojin dropped her bowl on the spot, her mind blank. She had always thought her adoptive parents were her only parents and had never considered that she had been adopted. The next day, her biological mother indeed came again, driving a car to take Xiaojin away. Xiaojin didn't want to go, but her biological mother pulled her along, and she reluctantly got into the car. As the car drove further and further away, she watched the mountains gradually disappear, feeling both panicked and empty inside. When they arrived in the city, her biological mother's house was large and bright, with smooth floors, tiled walls, and a toilet and a large television she had never seen before. Every meal was filled with lavish food, even more sumptuous than New Year's celebrations in the mountains. But Xiaojin couldn't eat a bite, and she couldn't sleep at night. Her mind was filled with images of the dilapidated house in the mountains, her adoptive parents' faces, and the stray dog that followed her every day. Seeing her sullen, her biological mother bought her new clothes and delicious food every day, promising to support her education, help her get married, and that she wouldn't have to worry about anything. Day, her biological parents went out, leaving Xiaojin alone at home. She accidentally pressed a small button on the side of the radio, and suddenly a strange recording came on. Not her voice, nor her adoptive mother's voice, but a conversation between her biological mother and father. Her biological mother said that bringing this child back was to support her younger sister. When her sister got married, Dee and her in-laws had problems. She would have to step up and take responsibility. The family situation was better. Keeping her with them meant she had someone to rely on, so it wasn't a waste of their time raising her. Xiaojin stood there, feeling cold all over. She had always thought her biological mother had missed her for a long time before coming to take her home, but it turned out she was just being used as a stepping stone for her twin sister. She sat on the ground, remembering how cold the winters were in the mountains when she was little, how her adoptive mother would tuck her feet into her arms to warm them every night, how her adoptive father would pick wild fruit for her even when he was exhausted from chopping firewood, how the family was so poor that they ate only pickled vegetables every meal. Yet her parents would always give her the few pieces of meat they had. Xiaojin made up her mind to go back to the mountains, but when she reached the door, she found it locked from the outside. Chaotic, and she couldn't tell which way to go. Guided only by her own thoughts, she headed towards the mountains. When hungry, she ate a few bites of leftover rations. When thirsty, she drank from the riverbank. Her feet were covered in blisters. Halfway there, she met an old man driving a horse-drawn cart. Heavy rain began to fall. Xiaojin took shelter in a cave. In a corner, she found an old cloth bag containing a few old clothes and some loose change. Picking up the clothes, she noticed a line of small characters sewn onto the corner, the name of her adoptive parents' village. Xiaojin immediately understood. This cloth bag was left by her biological parents when they sent her here. They weren't too poor to raise her. They had planned to place her with an honest family to raise until she grew up and became useful, then return her to them. After the rain stopped, Xiaojin didn't dare stop for a moment. She traveled through the night for 3 whole days, finally reaching the village entrance. Before she even entered her house, her family's dog rushed over like a madman, jumping and rubbing against her, its tail wagging incessantly. As soon as Xiaojin stepped into the yard, she saw her adoptive mother sitting under the oil lamp sewing insoles, her hair almost completely white, and she was incredibly thin. Her hand trembled, and she actually pricked her finger, but she didn't feel the pain. She just cried. Xiaojin knelt with a thud, hugged her adoptive mother's legs, and cried, "No matter how good the city is, it's not my home. Mother, I won't leave. I won't go anywhere. I'll stay with you." Her adoptive father pulled her up, wiping away his tears, and said, "In the 3 months you were gone, your mother couldn't eat or sleep, afraid that you would be mistreated in the city, afraid that people wouldn't treat you sincerely." Her hair fell out in clumps, and in just a few days it turned completely white. A few days later, his biological mother drove to the mountains, pleading with him to come back, explaining the advantages of city life and how her younger sister needed a brother to care for her. Xiao Jin stood before his adoptive parents, saying, word by word, "I grew up in the mountains for 13 years, and you never cared for me for a single day. Now I'm back, and I won't leave again. The people who gave me life didn't raise me. The ones who raised me are my parents." His biological mother was both anxious. No matter how much she pleaded, Xiao Jin wouldn't budge. His adoptive parents stood firmly in front of him, their attitude resolute. His biological mother had no choice but to leave alone and never return. Housework for his adoptive mother. Life was hard, but he lived a stable and fulfilling life. Later, he married and had children, always keeping his adoptive parents by his side, caring for them meticulously without a single complaint. He always kept that radio carefully, reminding himself never to forget his roots whenever he heard his adoptive mother's voice. The debt of giving birth is not as great as the debt of raising. Those who genuinely care for and cherish you are your true family. No amount of material wealth can compare to a selfless and sincere heart. Home is not about wealth or poverty. The best home is one where someone cares about you and cherishes you. To live a peaceful life, one must be grateful, remember the kindness shown to them, and never forget one's duty.